Hi YouTube. It's been a while since I did the last update. I had great plans of doing numerous updates over the winter as I did certain projects on the Evo, but basically I've just decided I'm not that sort of person. I enjoy working on the car and I enjoy working on it for myself. I'm not the sort of person to go out and spend lots of money on like decent audio equipment and decent camera equipment, and set it up and get nice shots. And I'm just not that sort of person. I much prefer just getting in the garage when I've got a chance, cracking on with something, and really enjoy hopefully the sense of when something goes right and you've fixed something. So this video is not going to be how-to videos. It's going to be more just hopefully relatively regular updates on the Evo and showing it progressing as my project. This is not going to be a super Instagram build. It's not going to be some monster power build. It's just my project. It's my car, and it's going to be a bit of an OEM plus. Hopefully daily driver, but probably only really summer daily driver. So anyway, I've been doing a few things over winter, so I'll take you through them now. Yeah, see what we've got. Alright, so under the bonnet, it doesn't really look like much has changed, but I've spent quite a bit of time just cleaning up some odds and ends that I wasn't happy with, and just improving things where I can. So one of the things that really annoyed me, it's really started this whole project when I took the car off the road. So this is an aftermarket radiator, as you can see, that's been fitted by a previous owner. But when this was fitted, the original rubber hose was actually pushing this whole radiator forward, and it was colliding with the back of the cooling panel. So that really annoyed me, and I tried a few things to sort of fix that. But basically all I ended up doing was cutting off or shortening this rubber hose to allow it to sit back in a better location, so now the rubber mounts aren't so stressed. But another thing with this aftermarket radiator, the shroud, it's getting covered in dust now, but the shroud was colliding with the intercooler pipe. So this, when the main intercooler pipe was actually fitted, it was pushing into the back of here because the shroud wasn't sitting properly against the radiator. So I've taken all this off and I've actually rebent these tabs to allow it to fit almost flushly. You can see there's still a couple of mil gap between there just in case, but it's much closer there than it used to be. I've actually trimmed off a little bit of the shroud and repainted it. Just hopefully I should have plenty of clearance there because that's no longer anywhere near it. But once the rubber hose is on it, obviously will be a little closer. Couple little shiny things. So the manifold cover I actually got just before I took the car off the road, and that's just a pretty thing, just slightly better than the original one. I took the SAS system off, the secondary air system off, and while I had it off, I re-drilled the banjo bolts to a slightly larger diameter, which apparently is quite useful for extra pops and bangs. Although it won't be getting a pop and bang map, these cars do tend to do it as stock, just on overrun. And actually ended up having to buy a new SAS valve as well. Now, I didn't realise when I bought this, when I was looking for this, that the 9 actually uses a different valve from the 8s and the 7s, so that's much harder to find. I was quite lucky I found that on eBay, that had been wrongly listed as a 7 valve, so the 9s are actually quite expensive to buy. While I've been in here, painted the odd little things. So the gearbox mounts on both sides I've taken off and cleaned down and painted. I've upgraded the bushes for the gear selectors, hopefully just to give the gearbox a bit of a better feel. It was a bit clunky going to third. I think I mentioned that in previous videos, and bled the clutch while I was at it as well. And again, just cleaned up a few bits. There's a few little spots of corrosion, which, these things happen on a car. This car's pretty good shape, but it's not been completely loved. It's 100,000 miles, so it's had a bit of a life. And until I can get it properly restored at some point in the future, I just want to take care of these areas, get them treated, so that hopefully they don't get any worse over the next couple of years. One thing I was quite proud of, I sort of sanded down the lettering on the rocket cover. I think it looks so much nicer, it looks so much more modern. It really annoyed me that they just painted over the lettering. And one of the other things I've done under the engine bay has been, just for not really any reason, but I've upgraded to a COPS kit just because I really like it. My previous car had a wasted spark system the same as the Evo does, and I always regretted not just moving to a COPS system, just because I think it looks nicer. I should produce a slightly stronger spark, but I'm not kidding myself. I'm not expecting it to gain huge horsepower from that. One of the other things I've done while I've been in here, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but I've installed an NVIDIA turbo elbow. Now the stock turbo elbow that was on there, the outlet was about 2.4 inches, whereas the NVIDIA one is pretty close to 3-inch diameter, which will match the rest of the exhaust system, which is hopefully, again, maybe a small horsepower upgrade, not much, but I don't mind. It feels like the right sort of modification I should be doing to the car, especially with the rest of the exhaust being a 3-inch kit. Again, moving on from the exhaust system, so this is the downpipe that connects to the turbo elbow. This is a Miltech system. Again, it was bought from the previous owner, and when I took it off, I noticed actually there's a few collisions. So what I've done while it's been off is really I've bodged it by heating it up with a torch and just hammering the shit out of it until it hopefully clears the issues, clears the points it was contacting on. So this was actually contacting on the sump, which I really wasn't happy about. The sump's already a little bit crusty and probably needs replaced. See if I can get it done next winter. This area was actually pulled up when I got the car inspected, so this area was colliding with the transfer case, and then this back smaller one was just colliding off the heat shield as it goes into the transmission tunnel. But while I was doing the other ones, I felt you might as well do them properly. The other upgrade, not quite on the system yet, is the sports cap. So I've had that for a little while. It'll be going on. I prefer to run the car legal if I can, although the second lambda has been deleted, so I don't know if it'll actually run legally and pass an MOT. I'll have to get that looked into, but at least it'll have a cat in it. So north-south bar and the 2 frame braces, I think, again just taken off, cleaned down, treated and painted. So while it's been off the car, I just thought I'd do a decent job of them. A couple other little things while it's been off. The stock intercooler piping, as I said, that was colliding with the intercooler shroud. It was in pretty sad condition when I took it off the car, so I just spent a bit of time just cleaning and polishing it up and getting rid of the corrosion that was on it. So I'm really happy with how that's come out now. The little mark on the front, as you can see there, caused by the previous owner. They still ran the snorkel, the intake snorkel that sits on the front of the car, but as it no longer had the air box, the snorkel was resting on the intake pipe and actually damaging it, which is a bit annoying because it's not going to be easy to get that repaired unless I get someone to weld it and grind it down. Again, sort of polish down the intake pipe as well. And so this is the old SAS valve, which, as you can see, that's actually stuck open, which is a bit crap. So that needed to be replaced. As I did definitely notice a loss in performance. I'd had it off a few times before I took the car off the road for the summer and had to clean it up and get it moving again. But it's had it now, so it did need replaced. Alright, so that's about it for now. I've got a few other upgrades that I've done on the car and updates, particularly focusing around the back end, I've not gone into in this video. But I'll hopefully get another video out in the next couple of weeks to go through them. But yeah, looking forward to getting the car back on the road in the next couple of months, once the weather's cleared up a little bit more and there's no more salt on the road. So one thing I finally went out and bought all the oil I need for the service. So going through all the requirements of this. Obviously, I knew when I bought the Evo that it was going to be pretty heavy on maintenance. And this year, because it's the first year I've owned the car, I'm going to be changing everything. Things like the gearbox and I think the diff don't necessarily need to be changed every year, but this year I'm just doing the full works, and then from then on I can decide what I want to change every year or every mileage that I agree on. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you like what you see, feel free to like and subscribe, and hopefully have a few more update videos as the project progresses over the next year. So thank you.